Oh shoot! I forgot I had that on. Can I have that? Okay. Starface. Shout out Starface.
There you go.
Okay, no questions. But thoughts on DT?
Crazy. You kind of like saw it coming in the near future, but it's kind of surreal. Just like as long as I've basically been alive, she's always been playing, and just to watch her growing up, playing at UConn, playing in W, playing in the Olympics, like being the ultimate winner. It's something I've aspired to be, and like she's a great role model and just a great athlete for people to look up to, and obviously one of the greats. So it's crazy that she's not going to be playing anymore.
How was she a mentor to you, or how did she help you?
Yeah, just always being there. Like I got her number. We talk a lot in the summers. We've seen each other quite a bit. She's came back here, but just always being there. I think she's done it all, seen it all, experienced it all. So just leaning on her for wisdom, asking questions, and she's just always been there to support, like through the highs and lows and the ups and downs of my career here. She's just always been there to support.
What are some of the things that she does that no one else did on the court? What are sort of anything that you've kind of noticed that maybe you've tried to copy or tried to work into your game, or just things that only she can do?
Yeah, she's very unique in like terms of her competitive fire and her swagger and like just her fierceness. I think that was something that I always looked up to, and just the way that she didn't shy away from who she was, and she didn't hide it at all on the court, and it really just actually shown more when she was playing basketball, and she wasn't afraid of what other people thought. If she was to this, to that, like she was just DT, and I think that's always what's been separating her from everybody else.
What's the most important or memorable piece of advice maybe that she's given you?
I don't know, there's been a ton. Mostly like we both gotten a lot of the yell-ats from coach, good and bad. So it's just like that he loves you and that he's doing it to make you better. And if he wasn't yelling at you, it would probably be more of an issue than if he was. And he always gets on the players who he sees the most. So probably that.
How much of a comfort is it to be able to have some of the greatest players of all time you can call DIN, and you can call Miami, or you can call some of the best players that ever played, and they can help you through all this?
Yeah, it's very reassuring to know that they're there whenever you need them, and it's very selfless of them and just very humble of them to be able to have that relationship with us. And so you never want to take it for granted and think that it's something that they're obligated to do. So very grateful that they're just one call away.
Paige, who were your favorite players as a kid, in addition to her? Is there a group of 3 or 5 players that you really looked up to and tried to emulate as a young player?
I think that whole Minnesota Lynx core, obviously Maya, Lindsay being from Minnesota as well. Yeah, I think I just looked up to the Minnesota Lynx so much, and like growing up and going to the games at Target Center, the Barn. Chelsea Gray was always somebody that I really enjoyed watching. So I'd probably say them, yeah.
Paige,
21 years.
Are you surprised the season that Sarah Strong is having?
Not surprised. You can see it in preseason that she was going to have a tremendous season. Just the way she plays, the aggressiveness, the selflessness, the IQ, just everything, honestly, that she does on the court. So when you watch her in practice during the preseason, you're not surprised by what she's doing this year.
Speaking of Sarah, able to get her the ball, I mean, she has probably the softest hands that you could possibly have to be able to catch the ball. To reassuring if your pass is not exactly on target, you know it's still going to get caught.
Yeah, you kind of throw it up there, and you know that Sarah's going to come down with it. It's the same, like, whenever the ball comes off the rim, I just expect it's going to fall into her hands. She's going to go get it for the rebound. But definitely as a person who looks for her and is passing a lot, it's reassuring to have her on the other end of the passes.
Not that long ago, you were the freshman coming off the great regular season, and then things get real in the tournament. What do you tell Sarah and Allie about the difference of playing a regular season game as opposed to one and done, and your season could be over?
Just to continue to do what they've been doing. Obviously the stakes are a little bit higher. The pressure might be a little bit more. But to not let that change the way they've been playing, who they are, and just continue to do what you're doing, but rise another level, have a sense of urgency, and lean on the upperclassmen for advice and for help, and know that they're not doing this alone and they got a whole team with them. So, yeah, I would probably say all of that.
Paige, can I have you go back in the archives for this since we get to look ahead to Senior Night 2.0? Do you remember the first time you heard of UConn women's basketball?
Nah, I can't remember.
Earliest memory then?
I just remember Stephanie Dolson was on the team and they had just won the Natty. Like, Stephanie Dolson was my favorite player. Just her energy, her charisma, her passion was something that I really admired.
This is your guys' first 4-day break between games since before Christmas. How has that helped you now going into tomorrow's game and just knowing the postseason is about a week and a half away?
Yeah, it was crazy. I felt like we had missed a game or something based on the lack of off days we've been having. But it just helps you get your body right, your mind right, and also like work on things at practice. And we've actually had time to get better, get more reps, and not worry about like the game days tomorrow. You don't want to like exhaust yourself before the game. But again, like Creighton's a great team, and it's a huge game for us on Thursday. So we've been trying to prepare for that and get mentally and physically prepared for that.
We know obviously the big prize that you guys want is the national championship, but how important is it to you in your final year here to win the Big East regular season title?
Yeah, it's like one championship at a time. Want to get the regular season championship, and this is like Creighton only has one loss, so this is really a must-win game in order for us to do that and not have to share it. So the sense of urgency is high, and we want to continue to get better as the season goes on and March is approaching. So a very important game.
2 regular season games left. This is your last game at Excel tomorrow. Are you starting to feel any of the lasts of it all as you kind of get down the home stretch of the season here?
Now that you just said it, I didn't realize it's my last Excel game, but yeah, it's all crazy. Like last year, I sort of knew that I was coming back, but this year it definitely feels different. Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. I'm really not thinking about it, but it becomes more real as the time goes on.
You've had double-figure assists in 2 of the last 3 games, and you're starting to really push the pace offensively with those long stretch passes up the floor. Is that just something you're seeing, or is that something that's become a point of emphasis?
Yeah, coach is always like, Paige doesn't run the floor, so we don't need to get her the outlet and everybody else run. But it's something we've been working on in practice, continue to try to push the pace. I think it's been, in the past, it's been more on a miss, but we're even trying to push it on a make more recently and make sure that we're trying to score in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. And if not, then we get set up in our offense and run something. But transition has really been a huge emphasis, and I guess I've been starting it a little bit more.
Paige, 21 years ago, Diana was the #1 draft pick, obviously a position you may be in as well. Do you look ahead thinking, you hope to have a career she has had in the WNBA?
I think I've learned to more stay in the present, but to aspire to be as successful, to be as much of a winner as she has is always something that you want to set goals for yourself. But she had an amazing career, obviously one of the greats. And so when looking at like the blueprint on how to do it and the success she's had, it's definitely something you look at.
You guys have sold out biggest arenas 2 or 3 times on the road, historic crowds. When you see people in trees and surrounding your bus, what's it like to you when you walk out of the gym like that?
Yeah, it's very cool. It's surreal, like to see all the support that was there at Hinkle and wherever we've been out on the road. It's been really cool. I was saying, just like, I don't know, it's like you feel very blessed, and to see how far the women's game has come, and like to see people wearing your jerseys, to see people with signs saying how far they've traveled to come and watch the team. And so you're just extremely grateful, and you feel bad because you can't sign everything, you can't take pictures with everyone, but you love and support every single one of them for supporting you. So very grateful.
Remember the first time you had, whether it was a sports figure or someone you looked up to, sign something for you?
Yeah, I think it was Lindsay Whalen had signed a pair of Minnesota Lynx colored Nike shoes. I think I probably still have them in storage somewhere, but I think that was the first.
Do they fit?
They were not my size. They were a little bit big, but
Early in the season, when you guys are practicing, you're around a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores. Now you have AZ, you have Aubrey, you have Caroline back. How much does that help things, having players that have been here for a while and know all the deals?
Yeah, it's huge, especially during March and during tournament time. You have people who have experience, who've been there before, and who have the voice to share their knowledge and their wisdom and whatever they've gathered throughout the past couple of years. And so the freshmen have something to lean on. I think it's important.
How much do you think they appreciate what they've been through to get to this point? Your younger players, younger teammates, they've had to fight a lot just to get on the court.
What's the question?
How much you think your younger teammates really appreciate Aubrey and Caroline and the battle it's taken to get to this point?
Yeah, I think everybody's seen how much they've been working. They see their hours in the gym, how much they've invested into coming back, and the good days, the bad days. So they appreciate it. We all appreciate it, and we're all just extremely happy for them to be back on the court in the most important time of the year. And so I think there's just a overwhelming sense of like being proud and being happy for them.
Paige, you mentioned a few times being more present where your feet are throughout the season. What's that process been like for you to kind of really embrace that and not look too far ahead or look back or anything like that?
Yeah, it's been like everything in life, a learning process and a journey in itself. But I think just emphasizing that to the team. I think staying off of social media has been a huge thing, and just staying within this building has helped a lot, and caring about the voices that actually can make a difference, not paying attention to other people's opinions who have no effect on what you are every single day. And just trying to get better. I think that's been the main emphasis, trying to get better every single day, win the day, and just keep progressing to where we want to get to.
Paige, what makes Coach so relatable to your generation?
I mean, he has grandkids. Relatable to our generation. He's trying to be understanding. He doesn't get on TikTok. Relatable to our generation. He tries to be cool. Tries to learn some new slang. Yeah, I remember when he called Nika his slime. I guess he's trying to learn as much as we are.
What were your first impressions of Gino? Do you remember when you first met him?
I was scared of him. I was timid. I was like, didn't want to say the wrong thing. Didn't want, like, during the recruiting process, like, I just wanted to be, like, I kind of walked on eggshells in a way where I was nervous to talk to him. But he's very open, honest, personable. Like, he has a great personality and he cares. He has a great heart. And yeah, I think honest is the best thing I can say.
Did you talk to him on the phone first, or then you saw him in person?
Yeah, during the recruiting process, I talked to him on the phone, and then when I got up here for a visit.
How do you answer the phone when Gino Auriemma calls you?
What's up, Big G?
I meant the first time.
No, I'm playing. Hello, Coach. Nice to talk to you, basically. Very formal introduction.
How did you find out about the news yesterday?
DT's news?
Yeah.
Well, we share the same agent, so I kind of knew it was coming, but didn't find out till like the day before that the announcement was that day. So I kind of had an inside source, I guess.
Did you talk with her yet at all, just since everything came out?
No, I haven't talked to her since the retirement. She did text me when I ended up passing her on the scoring list. But yeah, not since the retirement, no.
Was it a nice text or like a smart-ass text?
No, it was actually nice and just like, proud of you, homies, that sort of thing. No sarcasm, yeah.
Did you ever look at her old film just to see what she was like, or do you just remember watching her in the WNBA?
Mostly I just remember watching her. Obviously, like, some highlights and some clips will come back, and you'll watch those and just remember all the things you watched, like, in the moment.
So what about your first impressions of CD, and what has she meant to you while you've been there?
CD was very bossy, strict, also very caring, has a big heart, but like she's like a aunt or a mom in a way where she's like getting on you if you don't have your jersey tucked in, like you look sloppy, like sort of like that. But she's just makes you better in so many ways and makes you care about things that you really didn't think were that important, but what separates you from other people and from being good to great. And I think when like the program isn't what it is without CD, and she makes you be a professional in college. So I think that's been huge.
Sharing UConn and an agent, have you talked to Diana through the years just about how to handle pressure or how to handle being, someone that everybody's looking at?
Yeah, definitely. Had conversations with her throughout the summer, throughout the season, just reaching out, asking how she handles it, what her experiences have been like, and what has helped her get through tough times, and how great it feels on the other side. Definitely have looked to her for that.
You and Aubrey have been through a lot together in 5 years here. Just what has it meant to go through this last season with her kind of by your side for it?
It's been awesome. I mean, I love Aubrey. We have a really great relationship, and like you said, we've been through a lot together. And when you're going through tough times with somebody, with the team, it makes it so much better because you're sharing that experience. You get to share the joy of what it's like to come back, to be playing basketball again, and to just enjoy our last year of college together. And so, I mean, it means everything to be going through it with her, and we love each other.
How much is it of a morale booster that now Caroline's back and working out with you guys and in games?
Amazing. Like I've talked about before, like Caroline is such a great person. Her presence was still felt on and off the court, but just to have that moment of just like, this is Caroline's moment. We all wanted that for her. Extremely happy for her. Have seen so much of what she's been through, the good days and the bad, and for her to overcome what she's overcame, it just brings real joy to us.
What are your thoughts on Creighton tomorrow? What concerns do you have?
Great team, can space the floor. They got shooters everywhere, can't not guard anybody. So the game plan has to be precise. They really make you pay for any small mistake you make. They're extremely smart. They make great reads. So you really have to be on top of your game when you're playing Creighton. And so, I mean, that's been the focus these past couple days.